On the previous battle plan video, we discussed how to invade Coruscant, yet we discovered that invading the world and holding it is going to be a complete and utter different task. So in this video, we're going to orchestrate a plan on how to invade and maintain power on this Goliath city world, once and for all. Importantly, make sure you do go back and watch the How to Invade Coruscant video first. I'll leave a link in the description as this video is going to take off from that plan, where the CIS have invaded. However, as opposed to retreating, you decide that now you're going to keep the prize jewel of the galaxy for the CIS. Now, first things first, it's important to establish that although this is a battle plan video, there's going to be very limited fighting. You see, some of the main factors that make Coruscant so valuable is its sheer scale. Its mass infrastructure and population of over 1 trillion people are the biggest drivers in it being so valuable. So deciding to lock the planet in a tyrannical grip, butchering people and anyone else who may oppose you and destroying entire blocks to simply make an example is a terrible idea. You want this world as intact as possible. Not to mention, since so many people do live on this world, your choices are going to have vast repercussions. So you're going to have to deal with Coruscant very, very carefully. So first things first, we're going to enforce a blockade, and a big one at that. There's two main reasons for this. One, the Republic is going to try to take their homeworld back, and they're going to be throwing ships at you left, right and centre, so you need to make sure that they're unable to break through. Secondly, you need to very closely monitor what comes on and off world. You don't want the Republic sneaking soldiers onto the world. As previously stated, the last thing you want is fighting on the streets. As well as that, you don't want a mass exodus of the planet. Upon finding out that the Separatists have taken over Coruscant, countless people are going to try to evacuate. And this isn't good. As previously stated, the people are a vital resource on the world and you need them to stay where they are. Now, you're going to need a commander to oversee the integration of Coruscant into the Confederacy, and this person needs to be skilled both in military actions as well as politics. And for this reason, I believe that the best choice by far is Dooku himself. Dooku was a brilliant and charismatic politician and a key founder of the Separatist movement. He's also well recognised and respected. Not only this, but he spent many years of his life on Coruscant whilst at the Temple, which is going to give him a far better understanding of the world and how it works. People may not like Dooku's politics, but they trust him to an extent. The guy was once a Jedi. And needless to say, people sleep a lot sounder at night under the supervision of an accomplished politician over a tyrannical warlord such as General Grievous, for example. Now, with Dooku at the helm, the first thing you're going to need to do is get the most influential people of the world on your side. It's impossible to manage the entire population of Coruscant on your own. So you need to get group leaders to join you. Firstly is the Coruscant Police Force. The Coruscant Guard, headed by Commander Fox, and the Guardian Police Force can be replaced with droids. This is relatively easy, as these troops are in charge of the upper levels of the world. And on these levels, you're going to face very limited resistance. You're mostly going to be dealing with petty crimes and fairly well-off residents, who aren't exactly going to go out and start heading protests. For this reason, it's the Underworld Police who you're gonna need to win over. These guys deal with the worst of the worst. I'm releasing a video on them around the same time as this, so check it out. Again, I will leave a link in the description. Now, you're gonna win these guys over by offering them more resources. Similarly to what Sidious did, by empowering the Underworld Police. You can do this by increasing their pay and their jurisdiction. Generally, just make sure they're happy. In the real world, most military or police coups against the government come from them not being paid. And this is something that we definitely want to avoid. Remember, these are fully trained officers with weapons, and the last thing you want is them starting a rebellion on your doorstep. Secondly, we have the criminal syndicates that riddled the world. Now, you may be thinking that if we reinforce the police, then we're fine, but unfortunately not. Organised crime on Coruscant was advanced, and you need to get on good terms with the major players before they get sick of you and start working with the Republic to turf you out. Essentially, how you can do this is to allow them to carry on with their dealings, allow their shipments through the blockade, and keep the police and your droids out of their business, and they'll likely be happy. Really, the best outcome you can hope for with these criminal syndicates is that they don't do anything against you. You're not going to be able to stomp out crime whilst trying to take control of the world. Now, of course, this isn't forever, this is just until things die down. However, once Coruscant is firmly in your grasp, you can quickly turn on them and begin pushing criminals off-world. But at the moment, the last thing you want is Coruscant's seedy underbelly working against you, so try not to annoy them. Finally, and most importantly, you need to address the people, and you're going to do this by getting the businesses on your side. Coruscant is in many ways the nerve centre of the galaxy. Mining corporations in the Outer Rim have offices in Coruscant, farming worlds' shipping coordinators are on Coruscant, and massive factories are based on Coruscant. And like many things, labour was key, and you need these businesses on your side. And thankfully, I don't think that's going to be very hard. One of the CIS's key beliefs was deregulation and reduced tax, and these are loved by businesses. So if you deregulate a ton of industries, which granted will probably lead to people suffering, and reduce taxes, then the businesses will flock to your side. Not only this, but they kind of have to be on your side. You control what enters and leaves the world. As well as this, the CIS controls some of the most advanced trading platforms in the galaxy. So you can essentially just make business impossible for these corporations if you want, or if they're not going to play ball. Once you have these businesses on your side, you control work, and if you control employment, then you can control the people. Very few people are going to be protesting on the streets if their employers threaten to fire them. The people of the world need work or they're screwed, and if they don't have work, they'll be forced to move down to the lower levels that you already control with your police force and criminal syndicate allies. It's very important that you remember that change comes slowly. You're going to have to implement things like hard propaganda campaigns and create a vast network of spies to spot problem individuals to speed it along, but some conflict is inevitable. There's still going to be Jedi survivors who will fight back, and many die-hard Republic loyalists who won't take CIS rule lightly. But you need to remember to be restrained. Shows of force against protesters risk turning more people against you and doing more harm than good. You need to convince the people of Coruscant that you're the good guys and you're what's best for them. If you succeed in this, you'll be able to use Coruscant to bring a swift end to the war, as without their prized capital, the Republic will struggle to function as one unified entity. Now, it's my opinion that with this plan, you can hold the world for quite some time. It's important to remember that the main point of this battle plan is actually to avoid conflict, because at the end of the day, the battleground belongs to you, and reducing destruction is only going to benefit you. If you choose to rule with an iron fist, you'd be fighting for every apartment block and factory, one at a time, and this takes a ridiculous amount of time. And even then, you're only going to be destroying your own assets. So avoiding a civil war on the world is really how you do win. Ultimately, conquering Coruscant is going to be difficult, but holding it is going to be an entirely different beast altogether. It's going to take a great deal of time, and it's going to require words over force. But what do you think? Would this work? And how would you choose to conquer and keep control of Coruscant? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share and sub as it's really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Also don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @TheLawGuy and tick the bell for regular updates. I really do hope that you enjoyed this content. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you next time.